What's up, everyone? My name is Spencer Mark, this is Jackson Clyde, and this is Sean Calvin. Welcome back to Summer of Spectrum here on The Spectrum Show.
That's right, Spencer. We've got another review of Palooza on deck for the next two episodes, in which we'll be covering the content through June and July. Sean, would you care to tell us about the reviews we've got lined up?
For this first part, we'll be covering Obsession, Spider-Noir, Masters of the Universe, and our next part, we'll be covering Disclosure Day, Supergirl, and The Odyssey.
Also, just to clarify, we'll be reviewing Spider-Man Brand New Day next month alongside Born Again Season 2, primarily due to the film coming out at the tail end of the month, and Lanterns will likely be reviewed in September or October, depending on when it's finished releasing. And with that out of the way, we're going to get ready for our first Spectrum of Opinions discussion, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone, for the cast of The Spectrum Show, and for our first discussion, we'll be talking about the unexpected box office juggernaut Obsession. So, Jackson, what's your spectrum of opinions on this one?
You can say a lot of people are obsessed with it.
For real.
Okay. This was really, really good. One of the better movies of the year I've seen so far.
Yeah, no, this is a pretty standout movie. I actually have seen this twice. The first time I saw it was at the Brattle in Boston. Wait,
What's the Brattle?
No, wait, not the Brattle. It was, I don't know if it was the Brattle specifically. It was like a, little theater in Boston where they screen a lot of film festival stuff.
Was it the Brattle or the Coolidge or the Somerville?
Coolidge Corner. It's one of those. It's one of those.
All right, yeah. I know you and Robert saw it then, and then you saw it with me later.
Yeah, we saw it on the film festival circuit, and then went back to see it when it was in theaters, and me and Rob both really liked it when we saw it there, and my buddy Rob basically said, if this isn't successful, I'm going to be super angry, and, well, let's just say he wasn't super angry.
Yeah, this did big numbers.
So, the movie follows Baron Bear Bailey. I think oh my god, that is
Look
his name.
forward to the nominees for Spectrum Awards Villain of the Year, everybody.
Yeah, okay, so Baron Bear Bailey, who is just like a music store employee crushing on his coworker in a sort of pathetic little puppy dog way, and even though he's being super obvious about it, and she even straight up asks him in a way that suggests that she'd be, willing to at least consider it, like, oh, hey, do you like me? Bro just can't work up the guts.
God.
So on a lark, he just wishes that she loved him more than anyone else in the world.
Using a thing called the One Wish Willow.
Yeah, like a little $7-8 novelty toy that he picked up, just at a random store.
$7-8 is generous based on...
That's the price.
Oh, it was?
Yes,
Huh.
That was the listed price in the movie.
It's been a while. I thought it was like $4 or $5.
The joke is that it doesn't cost much.
Ah.
And it's like a wish-granting thing. That's the joke.
I thought it was even cheaper, but my mistake.
Well, yeah, okay.
It could go for $4 or $5.
Well, I mean, yeah, but anyway, he wishes that she loved him more than anyone else in the world, and it works so immediately that it's honestly kind of that alone is kind of creepy. But what's even creepier is that it, when he wished for her to love him more than anyone else in the world, it over-delivered. It over-delivered.
Yeah,
and
it sure did.
Despite the, ethical this is a very, heavy movie and lots of themes of, relationships, abuse, consent, and stuff that we really can't discuss in specific because we're trying to keep this, fairly above.
Family friendly, yeah.
That being said, there's a Bear quickly realizes the power dynamic, and shows absolutely no compunctions about taking advantage of it.
Michael Johnston was great in this.
Michael Johnston, yeah, who plays Bear, who I've mostly known through voiceover work.
He's actually going back to voiceover work.
For the new Fire Emblem.
He's going to be in, the new Fire Emblem.
Well, he's not going
14th
back. That was probably recorded way in advance. Voiceover work happens very far in advance.
I mean, he's still hopping in. It's like he's clear he's going to be hopping in and out.
Well, no, it's just like these things. He was probably working on them fairly concurrently. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's really good in this. He rides a very fine line between making Bear kind of like a guy you can understand, but also
a guy you can understand but never condone, basically.
Yeah, no, he perfectly captures what I would call the mundane evil of normal men.
Yeah, he is.
He's like I'm not going to bury the lead here. Bear's a terrible dude, but he's also kind of a profoundly normal one who, you can very much see existing in our world.
He's a very mundane kind of evil, and that's what's especially chilling about it.
But that being said, that's not to say that, what the thing that is now Nikki, his prospective girlfriend, that's not to say she isn't also pulling up some messed up stuff. And I have to say this. I said this when I got out of the festival screening. Indy Navarrete, she is the scariest horror movie monster I've seen in years.
She is very, very good in this.
Like, it's made pretty apparent that whatever's going on with Nikki, it's somewhat akin to a possession or like a new consciousness forming within her to meet the desires of Bear's wish. And it quickly becomes apparent that whatever it is, it doesn't know how to act human even a little. Like, it has all the memories and like it knows to be in love with Bear.
I love how one of the first signs of that is them generating AI images of themselves together.
Yeah. Like,
there's something very fun there. I can imagine Curry Barker writing that into the script and giggling to himself.
A lot of it is just like her being fundamentally incapable of acting like in socially appropriate ways at first, but there are some really neat, like really fun jump scares that there's a scene where she's sort of walking backwards, and you might think you know what I mean by that, but trust me, you don't. Like, there's just an inhuman, uncanny quality to the performance.
The lighting does a great job with this, too. I love how a lot of the shots of quote-unquote freaky Nikki are completely obscure her face.
Yeah,
like
and
undershadow.
honestly,
really effective choice.
Even though like it's a pretty scary situation, there isn't a lot of violence in the movie up until the last act.
Up until the last third, and then it becomes extremely violent for one very notable moment.
The movie was almost rated NC-17 just for one scene that only got toned down very mildly.
Yeah, it is a very brutal scene.
And part of the themes that I've also noticed that I've heard some friends comment on, I think Brian, that was Red, noting like the toxic nature and backstabbing that goes on in small friend groups. Like, there's conflict between Bear and his best friend, who has some prior history with Nikki, and who he thinks might be trying to undermine him.
And there's also the kind of unsaid relationship between Bear and
Sarah,
yeah.
Who honestly seems like she would probably just like want to go out with him under normal circumstances, but he's just so obsessed with Nikki that he doesn't even really recognize it.
Yeah, that's honestly. Okay, by the way, I love Cooper Tomlinson's performance in this. He doesn't get talked about enough. He's actually the head of the prank channel that Curry Barker ran. That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like, they still run it together. And you can tell that they have worked together so long because Tomlinson fits into this like a glove just instantly.
Yeah, and
also, one of my favorite joke in the entire movie is on Tomlinson, his wish.
Yeah. I knew you would get a kick. We're not going. That's one thing we're not going to tell about. But
God, that scene is so
if you
funny.
haven't seen it, you got to see it. And if you know, you know.
Just his utter deadpan delivery of it is so good.
And this movie has done extremely well. It was made under $1 million. A cast of no big name actors.
4 or 5 people mostly.
4 or 5 primary actors. Mostly just fairly mundane locations, like only a few scenes that even really require stunts or huge action or whatnot.
Yeah.
They made over $200 million. It was a massive profit multiplier.
Minor thing I want to briefly mention: I love the headcanon we thought of and seemingly other people thought of the One Wish Willow Shop employee.
Yeah, the One Wish Willow Shop employee, which I think one of the actors has endorsed. That's
the actor who plays.
We can discuss headcanons some other time.
We'll discuss that another time. I just love the idea
because
it's very fun.
I mean, it's a very dense movie. It's thematically layered. It looks great. Like, it's sublimely performed, especially with Indy Navarrete.
I feel like a really interesting element that not a lot of people are bringing up is Johnston and Navarrete are both queer, and it feels like they have a lot of experience examining this kind of...
Yeah, from an outside perspective.
This kind of social
well, like this
Mess.
aggressive, this is an aggressively heterosexual movie in a, way that examines, it is basically discussing the kinds of social dynamics that drive a lot of men today and how they
Yeah.
see relationships with, other women.
It is honestly nice that a movie like this gets made and most people seem to get the point.
And yeah, no, I'm very glad that most people seem to have got it. They got it. Some people haven't, even though they play very scary music at the parts where you're supposed to think, oh, this is what Bear is doing. He's a monster. Some people still don't get it. And I'm glad that most people seem to have there's been some people out there who aggressively don't get it, and you can maybe argue proportionality, but I'm glad that at least the general response has been, no, this is what the movie's about. It's very obviously what the movie is about. Please just check yourself before.
I think the funniest part about that is the base example of someone who did not get it being flagged down hard.
Yeah, no, that's my point. Yeah, we don't need to go too into specifics. This isn't a drama channel.
I know,
but
yeah.
I feel like this is a movie where you getting it is actually socially important.
Yeah. If someone didn't get this, I'd be concerned.
Yeah, if someone doesn't get, if a certain other movie is meant to have, a socially forward-thinking message, that's one thing, depending. This is one where it's I'm glad. Anyway, this is a 9 to almost 10, 9 out of 10 movie.
I gave this a 9.5, I think.
Yeah, no, I don't, 10 out of 10, the one I'm holding off there is mostly just I don't know, weird personal stuff. It isn't that the movie does anything really wrong. It's just I know stuff that's done just a tiny bit better. This is still in the upper percentile of movies.
9.5 and a 10 for me is ultimately down to personal bias most of the time.
Yeah, no, that's the deciding factor, right?
Yeah, but anyways, definitely see this movie if you haven't.
It's probably
very good.
Yeah. And the Backrooms is all right too. Gen Z filmmakers seem to be doing pretty well right now. But this is
Gen Z YouTube filmmakers.
Yeah, but between this and Backrooms, this.
Yeah. All right, everyone. That wraps up our discussion with Obsession. But don't go anywhere because we got a lot more discussions coming up, and you'll definitely not want to miss them. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. We're the cast of The Spectrum Show, and for our next discussion, we'll be talking about the unexpected Sony Marvel streaming hit, Spider-Noir. So, Sean, what's your Spectrum opinions on this show?
I'm going to be real. At first, when the trailers came out, even back when the announcement for this came out, I was kind of skeptical because I don't think I need to tell anyone that Sony's track record for live-action Spider-Man projects is calling it a track record really seems to overstate. It's not even really a franchise at this point. It's more just a loose collection of failures that barely even really connect thematically, aside from...
Of course, we're not counting Morbius. That's a masterpiece.
Okay. But yeah, no, so even though Lord and Miller were producing it, which they had, also done, it's not like they had a perfect hit rate, because, the Silk project that they were originally doing for Amazon fell through, and it wasn't exact, and then you get news about stuff oh, he's not going to be called Peter Parker, and honestly, some of the effects and action in the trailers didn't exactly, thrill me, but, then you watch it, and it's oh, they tried. They tried for once, and it paid off, actually. It paid dividends. This is real good. This is a real good thing. Okay, so it's the 1930s?
Yes.
1930s, and private investigator Ben Reilly...
Not Peter Parker, as in the Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah, no, this is in fact a different character from the Spider-Man noir in the Spider-Verse movies, even though it is played by the same actor. That's confusing, but... you get more Nicolas Cage, so just roll with it. And there is a reason for why it's Ben Reilly. And if you know who Ben Reilly is in the comics, you realize that it actually matters less than you'd think. So Ben Reilly's a private investigator who used to be the Spider. He was a, web-slinging, spider-powered, fedora-wearing, mask-wearing noir superhero who ended up retiring when his wife died. But he gets pulled back into it when Cat Hardy and pulls him into a web of lies and deceit, surrounding the local Irish mob. And who burned down his house? Why are all these people with superpowers running around the streets? And, what does all this have to do with strange experiments that went on near the end of the Great War? All that and more in Spider-Noir. So, this first and foremost, a lot of this is a Nicolas Cage showcase, and he's very good in this. Like as a dramatic, they've played up in at least one of the trailers, like the Nicolas Cage moments, which he's acutely aware of. It's part of his brand. Like if you've seen clips from what is it, like Kiss of a Vampire, you know what to expect. But really, he's pretty subdued for most of this. Yeah, no.
He's meant to withhold his emotions, naturally being the noir character that he's portraying.
Yeah, and
hard-boiled detective.
Yeah, but it's a good dramatic performance. Like you buy into this character. He feels real. Like you get where he's coming from vis-a-vis the whole I don't want to be a superhero thing. I'm getting pulled back into the superhero thing. It's a real strong thing. And honestly, the supporting cast, like his secretary, the mob, all the various supervillains and other anti-hero-ish guys like Megawatt, Sandman, Tombstone, Robertson, his buddy at the Bugle, all of them are fantastically performed. These are really it's just a really strong group of actors here, and They really pull the whole thing together. The mystery is actually kind of interesting, too. It unfolds at a decent clip. There's some fun, betrayals, twists and turns, subterfuge going on in the mob. And, the stuff about, military experimentation, the bias some of them face, from the news media, that, all of that, just really strong plot beats. It's a very, and the dialogue too is pretty razor sharp. I'm talking a lot.
Yeah. No. You're hitting the nail on the head. Also specifically with the mutations, his origin is also very different than in the Spider-Verse movie as well.
Yeah,
and a lot more horrific.
Yeah, no. I won't harp on about details, but this is a fairly adult Spider-Man, and part of the reason for that. Okay, so. Part of the reason they went with Ben Reilly as opposed to Peter Parker was because contractually, if you have Peter Parker in a Spider-Man thing, legally, Sony is not allowed to have Peter Parker drink, do drugs, or act in all sorts of weirdly specific ways that don't make a lot of sense to just have under contract, because why would you even do a bunch of that aside from I guess drinking? But the thing is, much like how Maurice LeBlanc basically managed to get away with rewriting a Sherlock Holmes Arsène Lupin fan fiction and get away with it legally by renaming Sherlock Holmes to Herlock Sholmes, Sony has basically done the same thing here. In the comics, Ben Reilly is just Peter Parker's clone. And for a period in the 90s, there was a period where is he maybe the actual original Peter Parker, and the Peter Parker we've been following for decades now is the real clone? It turned out, no, that was not the case, but calling him Ben Reilly in this case is basically just an incredibly obvious trick they used to using the only other normal sounding name that Peter Parker would ever use as an alias or whatever. And they because Ben Reilly and Peter Parker are, I guess, contractually considered different characters, they can use this name that but basically just signifies it's still Peter Parker, just roll with it, and have him drink and stuff. And he does get plastered at a few points. It's very funny.
And in one really funny scene where he basically shows his identity to somebody.
Yeah, no, it's a funny, honestly, it's a funny series too, and not it's not trying to be funny in the traditional
it feels more witty, in the older movies that it's based on.
Yeah, no, it's not a very structured quippy kind of thing. It's when people quip here, it feels like verbal power play rather than trying to show off how just kind of a flex of how clever they are. It does feel, at least if not perfectly in line, then somewhat in line with how with the kind of movies it's trying to ape. And in terms of, and one of the other gimmicks here is how the show is presented visually.
Yeah, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, the show was filmed primarily accounting for it being a black and white production. Like, the intended viewing experience is basically black and white, but they do have color. However, they did not actually film in color. The basic filming of this production was done in black and white. That's the color they set everything for. And then for the color version, they digitally recolored it.
That is so cool. Probably one of the few times where black and white actually, I'm cool. It's cool that they actually recolored the black and white.
And what's interesting about it is, like, I do think that the color stuff, I've only watched a bit of the colored version, and you've watched a bit of the colored version
Yeah,
too,
I mostly
right?
watch black and white.
Yeah, I mostly watch black and white as well, but the color stuff, like, still looks fairly strong. It's it does have a very, like, saturated look to it, especially in certain locations.
I mean, because they advertise the true hue color, they have to make it as colorful as possible.
And I do think, I mean, that sort of evokes old style, like old film coloring, where, you know, because they wanted to, you know, really get their money's worth from the new color
and show the-
technology.
yeah, absolutely.
Like, they did colorful stuff with it, like, you know, Wizard of Oz.
Exactly.
Which wasn't the first film to be made in color, but, like, that's the first one everyone thinks of.
Yeah.
And, you know, also kind of has a, you know, color tone thing going on with the prologue and epilogue, and you know, yeah. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I've been talking a lot. Anything you want to take note?
Yeah, I think the cinematography was really good. Not just the lighting, but just like especially the scene towards in the final episode in the Hall of Mirrors. That was really good.
Yeah,
Good
there's
editing.
like this is a weirdly good-looking show. Like, the action isn't, like, you know, the highest quality stunts or the highest quality effects, but there is sort of an old-timey movie charm to some of it. Like, you know, it feels like they're trying to, you know, at least be in, if not necessarily directly riff on, but at least, like, pay mild homage to old style effects or something. And, you know, every once and again, you do get a really, like, really cool looking action thing. It's not bad. Like, none of it is bad. For a streaming show that probably doesn't even have as much of a budget as the average Disney Plus Marvel show, this is a pretty good time. Like, it looks good. Like, the characters are on point. There's actually an interesting kind of noir mystery going on here. I honestly like what they did with a lot of the villains. Like, a lot of them are very fleshed out characters with arcs on their own, and even some of the more shallow ones, like Megawatt, have stuff going on.
Yeah, I feel like it also tackles a lot of like issues of the time. both
Yeah,
with
no,
the-
it doesn't
yeah.
shy away from, like, the fact that, you know, people were racist back in
Absolutely.
the 30s, and that, you know, people, you know, leveraged that racism for money.
But I didn't
and-
feel like it was going overboard with it. Like it had just enough to represent.
I mean,
like the era, while
I mean-
still like having a concrete story.
well, I mean, like, I rarely find that anything ever focuses on racism too much to the detriment of its story. If the story went wrong in something focusing on racism, it wasn't because they wanted to talk about racism.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, yeah, this is real good, like a solid 8 to 9.
Yeah, I agree. Solid 8 out of 10 for me.
This is honestly better than a lot of the stuff that, like, Disney Plus puts out for some, which might be due to saturation, might be due to, like, differing, like, trends that Disney wants to hone in on. I did like Wonder Man quite a bit, but, you know, some other ones like Moon Knight or Hawkeye are hit and miss. Like,
No pun intended.
well, I mean, I don't even hate those. For production-wise, those are pretty fine shows, actually, but, like, I don't know. There's something about this one that's, at the very least, a bit more novel.
And it's nice that it's self-contained, despite
Yeah,
being
no,
like reference to Spider-Verse. It's a self-contained
Yeah,
universe.
it is a self-contained story kind of thing. You don't need to really you don't even really need to get the original Peter Parker Great Responsibility origin to understand where this one's coming from. Or even read, like, the original Spider-Man Noir comics, which are different in the details, but, you know, are very similar to this one ultimately. And yeah, I mean, if they want to expand this, do another season, like, do other cut-off Elseworld shows, maybe they do a Pacific Rim thing with, like, SPDR or something. Like, you know, if they want to do that, go ahead, be my guest. But I'm glad we have this. So, yeah. All in all, very strong showing for Spider-Noir. That wraps up our discussion. But don't go anywhere, because we've got another film discussion coming up. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. We are the cast of the Spectrum Show, and for our next discussion, we'll be talking about Amazon MGM Studios' recently released film, Masters of the Universe. So, guys, what are your spectrum of opinions on this film?
It's fine.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Skeletor mogged him.
It's fine.
Yeah, so honestly, so let's just go over the story before, so let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, no, this is actually drawing upon some deeply insane lore from the original He-Man, specifically the detail that He-Man's mother was from Earth and was actually, well, in the original was that she was an astronaut who landed on Eternia and just kind of hooked up with the king.
Yeah.
And, that's part of the lore.
So when they're invaded by Skeletor, she sends her son back to Earth.
Where he grows up to be the most deeply unwell man I've ever seen.
God.
Yeah, it was really just kind of a very bland movie.
And then
I don't really think it was bland. I just think it's kind of basic.
And
then
I guess
he gets a sword. He gets his magic sword back that he lost, and he goes back to fight Skeletor, who taunts him with his Chad muscles and Jim Bro attitude.
And harasses him in the workplace.
And there's a lot of other things, but anyways.
I mean, yeah, you're right that it's not a particularly unique movie.
I feel like it's a fun movie.
Yeah,
I think nothing else.
It
I think
is fun.
It's campy, and that's, I think, entirely by design.
I mean, yeah, but though sometimes you gotta. I am kind of confused by the characterization of Adam/He-Man because he's a weird guy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like he's not hiding a secret.
I like that they all find it weird that he gave like the other knights names like Ram Man and stuff, and then they're fighting people who have always been named Skeletor and Evelyn.
Yeah, no, right? Like it's like Ram Man, Mechaneck. What's going on? This is serious business. We're fighting Evelyn.
And Trapjaw.
Is he even called Trapjaw?
I think Trapjaw was a name that Adam gave him.
Yes, something like that. But yeah, it's a very basic movie, and honestly, the performances, I mean, they're fine. I think
the performances are actually kind of what helps this movie stand out above.
It kind of holds it together, honestly.
That is
especially Nicholas Galitzine and regrettably Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Jared Leto.
Didn't he say like this is a role he always wanted to?
I don't know. I doubt. No one is very few people outside of people who watch the cartoon as children are actually passionate about He-Man, and even that's giving it a bit too much credit.
Fair enough. I mean, and it's a shame that this didn't do better, honestly.
Well, I mean, they already greenlit a sequel.
They're still doing a sequel, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because they think it's gonna pop off on streaming.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I mean, considering what I've heard secondhand reviews of people who have like gotten to see it anyways,
through streaming?
Feel like there's not through streaming, just some people who've got to see it just through word of mouth. I feel like there's actually a decent chance that it could do well on streaming.
Well, I mean, word of mouth didn't actually make it a box office success.
It didn't make it a box office success, but it seems to have a decent niche audience that's helping it, which I'd say is something.
Hopefully they can improve upon their mistakes from the first one, too, in the
process.
process.
I feel like they could definitely... I know Travis Knight is like
very capable.
He's a very capable director. I feel like with some refinery, he could definitely...
Hollywood's hardest working Nepo baby.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't even know that, actually.
Well, yeah, but like I say it affectionately because he's actually generally good at what he does.
He also is responsible for keeping Leica alive, which is a moral good.
Yeah, which is a service to humanity, really.
Thank you.
Yeah, and honestly...
Thank you, Travis Knight.
Yeah, I guess there's really not much else to say about the film.
I got a couple things to talk about, honestly.
Okay, never mind then.
There's other members of the cast I quite enjoyed in this. Allison Brie, I think, did a really good job playing off of Jared Leto's I'm so upset at how good Jared Leto Skeletor is. I'm genuinely upset. Why is he that good at this?
He's just a funny little dude.
Yeah. And his voice the voice they give him is somehow perfect.
I'm assuming it's a mix of effects too, I would think.
Me and Sean had not seen like He-Man stuff before going into this, so we were just and he'd only seen 2003, so both of us were unprepared for when Cringer just starts talking in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
apparently he talks in like everything but 2003, so I did not know
I will
that
say
he
that
talks.
when I saw this in the theater, I was like, I had no clue about anything He-Man, so I
Yeah,
went
a lot of
completely
the
blind.
lore in this.
Look,
is,
there's this series on Netflix called The Toys That Made Us, which is about how big toy brands and franchises got started. And a lot of it does kind of go into the details of the franchises themselves because they've been so heavily merchandised from the start.
There you
And
go.
with He-Man, like the toys just came first. Like this was a bunch of
That's
dudes.
true.
This was a bunch of dudes who had no idea what they were doing, just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what stuck.
And apparently it did.
Like artistic integrity is so far from anyone's minds that it genuinely blows my mind that anyone actually thought it had any artistic integrity to ruin.
There you go. But yeah,
some other details. I'm trying to think. What else do I want to say?
It's
about
neat
this?
that it is kind of going for, a message of, not being like a super, like your physical strength not being everything, but he still does beat up Skeletor real hard at the end.
I do like that I do like that it's kind of going for a whole a bit of a commentary on toxic masculinity, which I think is something more than it had to do, and
yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, respect in that regard, but
but yeah, Galaxine is a very funny performance in that film.
Yeah, he's very funny, but I don't know how much of it
was natural.
Well, not necessarily natural. It's just like, they are obviously trying to be funny. It's just the character is very weird.
He's such a. I love how he. I love
he's
how
a
we were
deeply
like,
weird person.
wait, how did he get away with stealing the store without the cops getting called on him? And then the cops show up in the next scene at his apartment, and I just start dying laughing.
Like he's not making a secret. Like not only is he not making a secret of the whole Eternia thing, he's just saying it like, oh, that's a normal thing that people should accept in casual conversation. And then once he goes back to Eternia, he's treating all of his HR experience like, oh, obviously Eternians are going to be receptive to 21st century workplace policy.
I mean, it helped. It did work.
to an extent, but yeah, but and the thing is,
I kind of get a kick out of it because it's deeply unhinged and a creative choice that I don't see many other people making, but I'm not sure if it's good per se.
He-Man is unapologetically weird in this movie, and I find that fun. It's more personality than he usually has, and I'll take that.
He's deeply unserious in the original too.
Oh right, yeah.
I will also say that
I am still upset that there was a PSA of sorts at the end of the movie, but it wasn't a full. It didn't have He-Man say it doesn't have Galaxine He-Man saying something really dumb. It was just Orko.
And also, there's 3 post-credit scenes, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's all I really have to say.
It was kind of a fine box office.
6 out of 10.
I gave it a
6,
6.57. I think.
Yeah, I think 6.5. I think is an appropriate score for this.
There were some people who were ahead of release were comparing this to I Saw the TV Glow, and I'm like, what movie did you guys watch?
I'm excited for the sequel to this. I at least hope they don't cower it out and give us She-Ra Catra in live action. Come on, guys.
All right.
Give us something awesome here.
Yep.
All right, so I think we're good to wrap up this discussion.
But yeah, solid 6. This was one of our shorter ones. Solid 6.5, 7 out of 10.
Yes,
if this was one of our shorter ones. All right.
Yeah, that wraps up our discussion on Masters of the Universe, and therefore wrapping up all the discussions for part 1 of this 2-part episode. So if you want to see the rest of the discussions we got lined up, stay tuned, as the second part should be airing tomorrow on YouTube. So until then, see you in part 2.
That's a good title for a video essay. Obsession and the art of getting it. I just realized that's a horrible double entendre.
Oh my god!
That's horrible. I didn't even realize. Whoever wrote the thing on the prompt, you said, "Don't go anywhere." We're going to be doing another film discussion, so don't go anywhere.
John, bring out Hard-Boiled Origins.
Oh, damn it! That's the one. It's the one I left.
It's fine. We'll deal.
Damn it.
We'll put a photo on the screen.
Which one of these Supergirl comics that we have
is not Kara?